Hey guys, happy Friday to you. I am just pulling up my notes. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, happy end of the week. I'm so excited to talk on this topic today, talking about motivation versus inspiration. I've got my laptop here. I've got some notes, which I am pulling up. Sorry to be just a few minutes late. We had a little bit of a scare earlier today. My youngest had to be taken to ER. He fell at the gym child watch and hit the back of his head. Everything is okay. Thank goodness. And that's why I'm still in my gym clothes. I promised you I would be live at 1:30 Central Time, so that's why I'm here. Talking on a topic today that really can impact our business, whether we realize it or not. I know I personally didn't realize how much this could impact our business until over the past couple of years, just different situations and instances, which I don't need to go into all that detail, but I am babbling as I get my notes up here for you. Okay. We're going to be talking about motivation versus inspiration. And you may be thinking like, those are kind of the same thing, aren't they? I used to think that, but really they're two different things and they can impact your business in all kinds of different ways. So we're going to touch upon that, and we're going to touch upon how you can grow your own inspiration within yourself. So here we go. As you're hopping on, as always, drop down in the comments, give me a little hello, a shout out, a hey. I am Jamie Lee, and I'm so excited that you are joining me on this video. I've been growing my business while growing my babies since 2009. I've succeeded a lot. I have failed a lot. I am the first to admit that, but the point is growing from that and learning from that, and I love to share that all in these videos with you. So I'm going to get right into it. Today, I'm talking about motivation versus inspiration. What are they? Why do they matter? And how can we get more of them to use them in our business? So it really comes down to this, you guys. Motivation is anything external, and inspiration comes from within. So let's talk about that in just a little bit more detail. And again, I'm going to let you know how you can grow that for your own business. So motivation coming from somewhere external, right? Think of like your motivational videos. I am a huge fan of the motivational videos, especially the ones that have like the good music pumping and going. If you love those as well, drop down in the comments, let me know, or put a link to your favorite motivational video because I'm super curious. But motivational videos, quotes, connecting with other people. Think about when you're in a team environment, getting shout outs or giving shout outs. Those are all forms of motivation. There's something that fire you up and get you going that are coming from someplace external, right? Some people love to plug into their Bible or something spiritual to read. Maybe you're reading leadership books. In fact, every good leader should be reading the leadership books, right? If you've got a good book you're reading, drop that down in the comments below. Again, just curious. So motivation, again, really comes from external. So what's the difference between motivation and inspiration? Inspiration is that fire in your belly that is there. Inspiration is what comes from you internally. And here's the deal, y'all. Most of us are building our business on motivation. I've been there and totally done that. And what I can say is that when you can make that shift from motivation, that external things, those external things that fire you up, to inspiration, automatically being fired up from within, fueling that fire from within, business runs so much easier, so much faster. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So let's dig a little bit more into inspiration. Inspiration, like I said, that comes from within. That's that fire within. That is the words that we're telling ourselves, right? It's how we think about ourselves. It's how we think about finding opportunity. That is all inspiration. And I don't know if anybody is on or not. I can't really see anything. So hopefully you're on here and you're finding value. If you're on live, drop in, say hello. If you're on the replay, drop the word replay. I'd love to hear from you. So inspiration, again, that is what comes from within, right? And so when we can make the shift to inspiration, our business becomes like a well-oiled machine. Think of it this way. Think of motivation as a car that runs on like what we all have, right? A car that you have to fill up. It goes down, it gets empty. You've got to fill it up with gasoline, right? Think of yourself like that. If we're running on motivation, we are refueling, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I am not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like I said, I do love me some good good motivational videos, especially if they have Will Smith. But here's the thing. Imagine having a car that you never had to fill up again. Imagine having a car that automatically would run whether you put gasoline in it or whether you put cotton candy in it. Like, really doesn't matter, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? So that's kind of how we think of motivation versus inspiration. If you're running on motivation alone to build your business, you're really relying on external factors to build you back up, to get you motivated, right? Get you excited, get you hyped up. But if we can run on motivation and inspiration, then that inspiration is that fire that's continually going regardless of what happens, regardless of if you reach a new rank or you miss a rank, regardless of if you get that bonus or you don't get that bonus, regardless of if you're having a day where you walk on cloud 9 or you're having a day like I am today where just little things, everything is like not really going your way, right? So inspiration is that which you can plug into, which is going to keep you fired up, regardless of what goes on. Okay, so how do you get that inspiration? How do you keep that internal fire going? I'm going to be brief, bright, and out of sight, giving you 4 tips, I think it is. Yeah, 4 tips to keep your inner fire going. Are you ready for it? If you're excited for it, drop down, let me know. Okay, so your first one, you may have heard this before. You may have heard some of these before, but I guarantee you there's at least one you haven't heard before. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is to keep that inspiration going, to keep that fire in your belly going regardless, is your inner voice. How many of us are guilty of being our own worst critics? We should all be raising our hand. Drop a 1 down below if you have ever been your worst critic. You should all be dropping 1s. I would be dropping a 1 if I was on the other side of this camera. I am the worst at being my own worst critic. I could critique myself all day long. And that is one of the things to flip when we're trying to boost our inspiration, our own fire in our belly, to be motivated when our feet hit the floor and to grow our business regardless of what's going on around us. We got to address the self-talk. We've got to address that person in our head who is always tripping us up and just tell them to shut up, right? Change that self-talk. So you may be thinking like, okay, well, I know to change that self-talk, but I don't know how to change it. So let me give you a little advice. It's something that I've used and I've helped other people use with great success to change their inner voice. Some of this comes from the late great Louise Hay. If you follow Louise Hay, give a 2 down below. I do love me some Louise Hay. But in changing your thoughts, changing our thoughts changes what's around us, right? And so the best way to change your inner thoughts, because let me just back up a second. We have thousands of thoughts that fire through our head every single day, whether we're aware of them or not. And one of the great things to do to change your thoughts is to recognize when they're happening. But sometimes we get so busy in our day that we don't really recognize that these are happening, right? So the best thing to do, sorry, I'm getting tripped up because I actually have my kid downstairs and it's been a crazy day. I'm trying to get this info to you, I promise. But one of the best things you can do is to set an alarm on your phone, believe it or not, an alarm on your phone every 30 minutes, every hour, and have it go off and tell yourself something positive. Tell yourself something great that you just did in the last hour. Tell yourself something that you're beautiful, because you know what? You are, and honestly, we don't hear that enough. Tell yourself something wonderful about yourself or about your day or about what's around you or about what you're thankful for every hour when that alert goes off. Now, if you can't set an alarm for every hour to tell yourself something amazing, another idea is to put a bracelet on your wrist or even a rubber band. And whenever you see that bracelet, you're going to say to yourself a positive affirmation or something positive about yourself. If you don't have any positive affirmations, message me. I would love to share with you some of my favorite affirmations from others, for mompreneurs, I mean. So that's another idea to really get that self-talk changing in your head. And that's the first step towards increasing your inspiration, that internal fire in your belly to be doing your business and to be doing what you love every day. Okay, so I'm getting a little tripped up. Excuse me. So the second thing, you guys, you can do to increase that inspiration is to plug in to prayer every day. Now you may be thinking like, okay, well, plugging into prayer, isn't that like going to motivation, right? Something external. I'm not saying to read your Bible or whatever spiritual belief you have. What I'm saying is to plug into your higher power, whether that be God or whatever that be, and plug in and do your prayer every day so that you are aware that you are an amazing creature here in this life in every single way, from what you can see to what you can't see, right? So that's the second level of inspiration, is plugging in. The third level would be to find your why. Like, why the heck are you doing this? Why the heck are you getting up every morning? Why are you in your business? What made you decide to be in your business? Plug into that why. Make your why strong enough I always say, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not really strong enough, right? So discover what your why is and what your purpose is, so that every morning when your feet hit the floor, you know exactly why you're put here. You know exactly what you are doing, exactly what's going to happen. You know what your mission is. If you don't have a mission, reevaluate what you're doing, because your mission, when you feel like you're living a life on purpose, that can fuel your inspiration, your inner fire. That's the third way. Okay, now the fourth way is to just do it. The fourth way to get the inspiration, to get that fire in your belly. I have said fire in your belly like a million times in this video. But anyway, for lack of better words, the fourth way to grow that inspiration in yourself is to just do it. Like, when you don't feel like doing it, just do it. Like Nike says, right? Just do it. So when you don't feel like getting up and connecting with people, which should probably be your number one activity if you're in network marketing, or if you're in blogging and you're like, I just don't feel like writing a blog post today, do it anyway. Do it. Just do it. And sometimes through the act of doing it, you increase that inspiration. Okay, y'all, I will let you go, because as always, my promise is to be brief, bright, and out of sight. I hope these tips were helpful in growing your inspiration and discovering the difference between inspiration and motivation and how they really do affect your business. If you got value out of this, share with someone else whom you know that might get value, and I hope you have a fabulous Friday. Bye.